again to the Average Angling channel. Another windy day down here in Somerset. We're on Sedges today for the first round of Tony Rixon's float only league. There's 40 anglers in the league. We're fishing against each other in sections of 5. Pellet waggler can work here, but I think it's going to be too windy, so I've not really set it up, just to try and get it out of my mind. I've got 2 lines left and right just at the bottom of the slope, 2 lines left and right in the shallowest water that is reasonably flat, which is still like 3 or 4 foot deep in this place. Basically it's going to be meat or pellets because that's all I've got with me. But then a little bit further out, sort of maybe no further than 13, maybe 11 or 13 metres, I'm going to just ping meat for an hour and a half, 2 hours, just every now and again, not going to go mad. And then I'm going to try and go over that shallow, well, deep shallow probably. Maybe I'll pick up carp, maybe I'll pick up skimmers, maybe I'll pick up nothing, but it might just give me somewhere to go. Well, we're just about half an hour in, guys. Caught my first fish, I think it's a skimmer. I'm fishing on my short at the bottom of the slope lines, and I've got one with meat. I've been over that for 20 minutes and I can't get a bite. So I've just gone over the one that I'll put a bit of ground bait on. The ground bait and a few pellets on, and I've had this little blighter. Yeah, I'll take that. This is what I suspected would happen. I suspected that you might get a mixture of fish on this line. Not a lot coming out. John to my left's had 2 carp. He's got the perfect conditions for pellet waggler fishing. He's one of the few pegs that has. Guy to my right's currently playing a foul looker. Looking like he's going to get it out. He's had it in for ages. Very big fish, foul look by the looks of it. So I'm just going to stick with what I'm doing because nobody else is doing that well. And I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. Another skimmer next put. It's definitely up in the water, this one. I think it might be foul hooked because I feel like he's gone down and picked it up because I hooked him way off the bottom. Yeah, he's hooked in the tail. I can feel him swimming away from me. Well, I've got a foul looker now, but mine's a skimmer, not a carp like yours. Must be a few skim bobs down there on that ground bait. Only put 1 small ball in. 3 puts in a row, 3 skimmers. This one's putting up a bit of a scrap. I'm going to keep at it, keep catching these for a bit. Right guys, I'm going to have a 1 hour update. I'm just flicking between this left, I've just got like 3 sections on the top kit line to my left and 3 sections on the top kit line to my right, both at the bottom of the shelf. The one I'm dropping just cubes of luncheon meat on every now and again, which is the one I'm feeding right now. I've not had a bite or any sort of indication over that yet. And then the other one, I put the ball of ground bait in at the start, one-handed ball, and I've topped up since. That's where I've been having the skimmers from. I topped it up and went back up over the meat line after it went quiet. Couldn't get a bite of the meat line, so I've just come back over this now again. I've just had 2 skimmers on it. And that's where we are. I've got 5 skimmers in the bag, 5 decent sized skimmers, or mixture sized skimmers really. I'm kicking myself for not bringing the pellet wag because the guys either side of me have both had, one's had 2, one's had 3 carp. So I've made a mistake there, I feel, because there's not a lot of fish being caught short. I wanted to I didn't want to bring it because I didn't want to confuse myself. And the wind, the weather forecast was that the wind was going to be horrendous. So I felt like if I build a line up, I can't fish later on, I'll be gutted. So I'm just going to stick on what I'm doing is just sticking with these skimmers. Just take my time with them. This is the smallest one I've caught all day probably, so you know, the stamp's quite good. Just taking my time because I'm on 13 Jura slip, which gives me just a few inches of, because you know the carp in here are so big I can't really fish any lighter than that elastic wise. But you can see he's only a little one. So I'll see what we get next. If we get another little one, then I might have to top up. Seems like they like to come to a little ball. They do like to be off the bottom, these fish, and there's a real tendency to keep drifting up. I'm also wary that I fished here before, and if you get too many of them in your swim, you just, like I did last time, and I put a lot of bait in for them. I'm just going to foul up loads of skimmers, and I don't want to spend lots of time on skimmers. When I'm catching skimmers, I want to be in, catch a skimmer out, in, catch a skimmer out, and as soon as that catch rate drops, I need to be off it because the carp will just annihilate me else. It's just something to do while I wait for a carp or some carp to appear on the meat line, or one of the meat lines. So every now and again you just saw me there, I'm just pinging out 3 or 4 bits of meat onto my long pole line, hoping that I'll get some fish shallow. It's my next move. After you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours in, I might start looking at on those lines, on that line out in the middle, just to see if I can start catching some shallow, maybe them carp that are on the pellet waggler or be happier on the meat, but we'll see. Moment, expanders aren't fishing the meat, but only for skimmers. So knocked himself in the net, that was nice of him, wasn't it? Get all the slime off. Nobody likes slime on the line. And what I've been doing is getting 2 or 3 bits of meat, putting them in the cut. Actually 4 bits there. And then feeding the other line, and then just going straight over and fishing the groundbait. Well, the groundbait line's not getting topped up until the fishing slows down, just because, like I was saying, I don't want too many fish. I want it to be quick fishing, these skimmers, if I'm going to catch them. It's now like 20 past 12, so we've been fishing for nearly 2 hours. Still just keep going through the routine of 2 or 3 bits of meat every now and again, just on that line. Just starting, like, doubling it up the last couple of goes and thinking about having a little look on it. I feel like there's something out there. There's got to be something out there. Might have to put the carp. Every now and again I'm feeding that right hand edge line as well. Well, not edge line, but down the bottom of the shelf, where basically the same line as what I'm on now, but to the left. Which I've fed meat on. And all I've had over it is 1 skimmer. One small skimmer over that. That hasn't settled at all, that one. And so there's loads of skimmers down on this groundbait line. Just started catching a few by putting a smaller expander on, so the bites seem to come quicker. Tried a bit of meat, did have one, but it took ages. Wasn't any bigger than the rest of them, so it weren't worth the wait. Just changed my shotting around, trying to be more positive, because I'm getting loads of indications but I wasn't hitting many bites. Just see whether that's made a difference. Just trying to up the rate, because I'm now realising that I'm not bringing the pellet wagglers a massive mistake. It's the guys either side of me who have similar calm water to me. They've done really well on it. That's sort of like 4 or 5 each, which probably puts them on £40 each. I'm probably on 10. So as we move on to the next phase of the match, as wind starts getting up properly and they can't fish it, they're going to have a £30–40 lead on me. So I've got to pull back, which is probably not likely. Maybe these skimmers are a bit heavier than I think they are, and I've got 15, but it's irrelevant really, it's still miles behind. Plenty of indications, the float's not staying still for long at all really. If they're liners or what. Waiting for a more positive indication so they're not constantly striking my expander off. And there we are. The stamp of them's gone down a little bit, so I might top up. Keep these fish pinned to the deck if I can. Just keep putting wet ground bait in, or damp ground bait, and just pinning them down. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to have another look on meat line to the left then. I mean, it's 1 o'clock. If this is a skimmer, it's a foul up to it's a very good one. That's a nice one. That's what we want. We're going to catch some, I suppose. That'd be nice. The stamp we want to catch. It's nicely hooked to my lip there. He's over the meat, so maybe that's the way to go. Who knows? I've gone out over my shallow, the line that I wanted to catch meat over shallow with meat. I just simply cannot get any indication on it, so I just want to keep feeding it for a bit and have another look. But if I don't get any more indications when I have a look next time, then I'll probably have to biff it off, because I'm starting to feed my meat line a bit harder, because I just realised the skimmers are eating the meat, so you can't use more than 3 tins of meat in one match here, so you've got to be careful. Try and ration the meat that I've got. It's 1:30 halfway point. At the moment, the only 2 lines I can catch on are the top kitten 3 lines. I've been feeding the meat line harder and harder with meat to try and, entice the interest of a carp, and all I seem to be doing is catching bream now. So it's not as fast bites wise as the pellet and the the pellet and the ground bait line, but stamp of the bream is better when I catch them on here, so I'm alternating between the 2. I'll have a couple of 3 fish off each line and top up and move. You can see the weather's absolutely ridiculous. There are fish on the surface about halfway across. Nobody seems to be catching up in the water. I don't know whether they're feeding or just cruising, or whether they're bream, whether they're carp, what they are, but I've kind of given up on my shallow line. I'm just fishing these 2 now for a while. Another little surprise. Look at that, little barbel. Didn't know they were in here. I'm putting the silver's net is too small to go in the carp net. All of a sudden it seems like the meat line is actually producing more skimmers than the ground bait and pellet line, which is bizarre. So I top the meat line up after I missed a couple of small fish, and then over the ground bait line I had a couple of small fish off that, and then I've had 2 nice bream right straight away off this meat line. I mean, I wouldn't have thought it. I wouldn't have thought the meat, I wouldn't have thought catching on chunks of meat like that. What's that? 6mm bit of meat. Now, I've caught them up in the water on meat before, so I know they like meat, but really, I've not targeted them. Just for the deck for meat. But seems to have quite a flavour for it here at the moment. I'm fishing meat open to get a carp, but I can't get a sniff of a carp at the moment.
So I'm just going to keep, all I can do is keep putting in the net whatever I can put in the net.